round 5 starting up.
Who do we have?
We got Ian McLaughlin versus
Ryosuke Kondo. So, very, very interesting, if I do say so myself. Now, do you have anything to say about these teams? Because you look at the teams, I've just had a quick glance at them so far.
So the one interesting support, where everyone's used to, I think it's safe to say, is Smeargle Xerneas, but
absolutely.
There's the original Follow Me user on this team, I think it's safe to say.
Twitch
Pulling out Clefairy.
Ooh, I was going to have them guess. Trevor, come on.
Too late.
It's too late.
There is
All right.
a very, very interesting choice as opposed to the traditional Smeargles.
Both these players are 4-0, so I hope you in the Twitch chat are hyped as we are for this match. All right, we're going into team preview right now. On Ian's side, we do see Xerneas, Groudon, Venusaur, Incineroar, Heatran, and the Clefairy.
Yeah, are kind of the team that has been picking up a little bit of popularity, obviously minus the Clefairy. But this new core that's coming out of Zerndon, Venusaur, and Incineroar kind of picking up a lot of pace. Heatran, we saw that earlier on stream, putting in a ton of work.
Very true, very true.
And the Clefairy, though, as well, being a nice little support Pokemon here.
I mean, it also gets access to Friend Guard, right? And, my memory's a little bit foggy. What does Friend Guard do, Trevor?
All the damage that comes into your ally is reduced by 25%.
25%. You only do 3/4 of the damage you were originally going to do. Impressive. Now, on Ryosuke's side, we do have Kyogre, Xerneas, Tornadus Incarnate, Incineroar, Kartana, and Gothitelle. A bunch of monsters that we have seen earlier today.
I believe almost an exact mirror of what we had seen earlier.
I think, what was it, round 2, 3?
I believe round 2 we did see this very same team almost. I'm curious to see if it's exactly the same or if there's a lot of little tech choices that are different as opposed to the other one.
All right, we are heading into the battle right now. Twitch chat, hold on to your seats. We are about to pick up and run with this. Let's see how both players lead. All right, so what do you expect is going to come out from Ian's side? He does have the typical Zerndon team.
I was thinking the Zern Smeargle lead that is now a Clefairy this time.
Yes, and I think Clefairy is bulkier than Smeargle at the cost of a bunch of speed, correct?
Much bulkier. And obviously no Spore and no every other move in the game, but you do still get the Friend Guard boost.
And I mean, if it comes down to it, maybe, hypothetically, Fairy Aura, Moonblast coming out from that Clefairy. Maybe doing like a decent, like maybe not like spectacular, but like chip damage is chip damage.
Absolutely. And so from here though, we do have a potential Prankster taunt, but the question is, who are you taunting?
I would say it depends, because there's a whole priority of moves, because if he goes for taunt going into the Clefairy, shutting it down for the majority, and
so we probably are going to see a Geomancy followed by a second Geomancy now, where both of them are just going to power up and wait until next turn, I think, to start being able to do things.
Both these Xerneas ascending into their final form, getting a +1 into special attack, special defense, and speed. Oh, did I say +1? Forgive me. +2 in special attack, special defense, and speed. And we will see the Geomancy on both sides, looking fairly even, though I think it's leaning towards in Ryosuke's favor.
However, the question is, what did Clefairy do? Clefairy did get taunted, and it didn't go for Follow Me, which means potentially Encore, and there it is. Attempting, in case the taunt did go into Ian's Xerneas, then Ryosuke's Xerneas would Geomancy up and then be forced to Geomancy for the next 3 turns.
I think that we may be able to see a possible Protect from Xerneas and a Tailwind, just so he can outspeed the opponent Xerneas. But that's just like if you do want to set up, because he could also go on the offensive expecting the Clefairy to swap.
I think it's very predictable that this Clefairy swaps, because Clefairy not known for its offensive moves, maybe a Moonblast or an Icy Wind here.
I mean, I don't know about you, I ran Magical Leaf on my Clefairy back in Diamond and Pearl, so you never know.
From this point, and here we go, there is Incineroar out on the field.
Incineroar striking with that Intimidate, not really doing too much, as both Tornadus Incarnate and Xerneas are both special attackers. But we will see the Tailwind coming out from the Tornadus, doubling speed on for Ryosuke's Pokemon for 4 turns. And Moonblast coming out from Ryosuke's Xerneas. That's twice its outspeed. I think it may have a bit more speed investment.
I think it's safe to assume at this point. However, the Moonblast special attack drop is actually going to be kind of an important factor since this is now going to do much less.
Oh,
and it doesn't get the return drop.
Actually, just eyeballing it right now, it does seem like only like a couple % less, right? It's actually very close. So maybe Ryosuke's Xerneas is a bit faster and more bulky, whereas Ian's is a bit more offensive.
Yeah, it could also be the other way around, potentially where one of them's significantly bulkier in special defense as well. That could be another factor. Maybe the speed is traded for bulk.
Very true, very true. Now, who would you fake out in this situation if you were Ian? Oh, well, we're going to find out right now.
Yeah.
Oh, the Tornado is preventing any more prankster shenanigans.
Dazzling Gleam fired off.
But the thing is that Tornado didn't go for a status move.
Oh, but that's going to be big.
Oof. That's
Since
a big
that should have easily lived that turn. Probably
F for respect in the chat. F for respect.
Probably on 60 health or so, maybe, but still, losing that now absolutely changes this
Very
game.
unfortunate. Now, I wonder what move that Tornado went for, because it did not go for a status move. Because its text would have...
It did go after the Xerneas
Yes.
in terms of the finish. So it probably went for its attacking move, whatever it is.
Probably,
However,
the Hurricane
we did
most
see
likely.
Ian hover over the forfeit and instantly forfeit off of... The critical hit was... It most likely assuming that there was probably another support in the back, like maybe Heatran, maybe Venusaur in the back, but you're still in the situation of...
I would expect
There's no way of turning the game around.
I would expect it to be Groudon because it's too slow to match Xerneas, and it'll
That is
get
another
one-shotted
option,
by Moonblast. So that
Maybe
was
not. You can live the Moonblast. I know that one, but the
at
unfortunate...
+2? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. But the unfortunate crit happens, and it's... The 1 in 24 got rolled, so from that, it doesn't matter what happens. The game was over from there, at least from Ian's perspective of whatever he had in the back didn't match up against whatever Ryosuke could have potentially had in the back, since he still had 2 left.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Ian. That critical hit, sometimes RNGesus is just not on your side. But we can hope that he pulls it back in Game 2. So
Instantly already ready.
We see Ian actually locking in immediately, and Ryosuke still has about a minute left to make his decision. So,
nope, he's also locked in.
We're going back
right
into the battle.
Back into the battle.
Alrighty, let's see how they both lead. Well, Ryosuke, he may just lead Tornadus Xerneas because like we've said so many times on the stream, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep, there's no reason for him to change anything right now. However, we do still have the potential encore if there is the Clefairy. So the taunt will have to go into the Clefairy if it's there. But however, we do see that he mixes it up, and this time we do have Incineroar on.
Ooh, so you're pressuring for a fake out on either one of the opponent's Pokemon. I would expect it to go into the Xerneas, so it would start setting up a turn later than Ian's Xerneas, and especially since what we've seen so far from the Tornadus is some offensive move, likely Hurricane.
Yep.
Then we also saw Taunt and Tailwind. So it would have, unlike Thunders, it doesn't want Thunder Wave. So what else could it have done?
Maybe Rain Dance, but that doesn't do anything in that situation.
True. I mean, he could Rain Dance out to try and weaken the Incineroar's Flare Blitz, but I think anything else, like maybe a Tailwind, would be probably better suited. Or Taunt, from this perspective, it's most likely going to be Taunt pressure onto the Xerneas. So you either fake out to stop the Taunt, or fake out to stop the Geomancy.
So either we're going to see 2 Geomancies most likely, or 0 Geomancies this turn.
Well, we're going to have to see. Ian has to pick the lesser of 2 evils at the moment. So who does he fear more, this Tornadus or the Xerneas? Fake out onto the Tornadus, wanting to make sure he gets up his own Geomancy.
I think this is the good play, because if you do wait, and if you fake out Xerneas, you stop it for this turn, but you're taunted for the next 3 turns. Which means the Geomancy can still come up next turn. We've already seen it's faster. So he has to go for the game plan again of basically we need 2 Geos going up, and then we're going to play the game from there.
Very true. And like you said, Ryosuke's Geomancy, well, his Xerneas is faster than Ian, so it's like, how many? It's 3 for 3, so this is definitely not speed. Unless if he has...
Not to mention the damage that we saw coming out from the -1 versus normal.
Very true, very true.
I think it's safe to say that his is significantly, or at least to the point that it's faster. So we've got that going. However, the issue is I think Ian might be in the better situation here, assuming there's a Clefairy in the back.
That is very true. I think that we may also see a potential Tailwind, or if he's feeling like calling something, maybe it's a bit out there. Rain Dance, because if the ground stops in you and you Rain Dances, oh no, it's Clefairy. What am I talking about?
Yep, and there's the little Clefairy back on the field now, getting ready to...
coming out from Tornadus, doubling his speed again. Ryosuke is looking very good right now, actually.
As you do see Dazzling Gleam come out, and that does nothing to that Xerneas.
But it did over half to that Eviolite Clefairy, right? It should be Eviolite.
Oh, it's definitely Eviolite.
But
and this time the return special attack drop.
What goes around comes around, am I right? But we will have to see. I do think that since Ryosuke does have the speed advantage, he can quickly knock out his opponent's Clefairy, especially with a double with Dazzling Gleam and maybe a Hurricane into the Clefairy slot, and still dealing some sort of chip damage onto the Xerneas.
But if I'm Ian, I think the safest play, assuming this Clefairy has Helping Hand, it's go for Helping Hand and Dazzling Gleam.
Oh,
or
protect.
Preserve itself. That's another option. Because if you go for Helping Hand, you're probably going to die.
Taunt, yes. Protecting against the taunt, trying to get the KO onto that Tornadus right now.
And here we also see another Dazzling Gleam fired off.
Razzle
that just
dazzle.
Does nothing, as opposed to this one, which is going to do a whole lot more damage.
Oh, it doesn't KO. We see the... Is that the Pinch Berry?
It is the Pinch Berry, just like before.
All right. Now, that Tornadus will be falling next turn to a Dazzling Gleam, so we're just going to have to see what will Ryosuke do to get himself out of this situation. Because his taunt failed last turn, which means that Clefairy is going to be able to get a Helping Hand off.
Clefairy is able to get Helping Hand off. It can go for Follow Me like they usually tend to carry. And off of the fact that he swapped out upon instantly being taunted, we saw the Encore, we've seen Protect. However, it does just choose to switch out and preserve itself.
Incineroar, not wanting to lose the Clefairy just yet, trying to get maybe some more fake out pressure onto the field. Since there is no Lele on either side of the field, he can freely shoot out fake outs whenever he feels like it. Taunting that. Oh, the Xerneas.
Taunt goes into Xerneas, maybe trying to stop it from ever being able to protect.
That's a very smart call. Now we do see that the +1 Dazzling Gleam not doing too much, and the Dazzling Gleam from Ian's Xerneas taking out both of Ryosuke's Pokemon. Man, how the tides have turned.
Yeah, this time the Clefairy showing off just the Friend Guard capability. Of just all it has to do is sit on the field in order to just offer that help to the Xerneas, so it takes even less damage. And now we've got Fake Out pressure this turn as well.
Very true. Kartana Kyogre is what we see coming out from Ryosuke's side of the field. The Drizzle summoning the Rainstorm to power up its water moves, and you just have to wonder, what kind... is this Scarf Ogre? And is this a fast Kartana, or is it AV?
I think we do have to keep in mind, though, Tailwind is up as well. So if this is a fast Kartana, it can outspeed the Xerneas if it's slow, which we can probably assume it is. But Fake Out coming out, likely into the Kartana, just to be able to stop it from
breaking any sashes it may have. Oh, it went before the Kyogre, which is interesting, meaning it's not Scarf Ogre.
It's not Scarf Ogre at all, no. That Xerneas does still hang on.
That +2 special defense coming in clutch from a full HP Kyogre's Water Spout in the rain. Oh, and
here
that
we do see...
Goodbye, Kyogre. Oh,
nope.
He lived.
Kyogre hangs on and gets
Pinch
his
Berry. So many... Everyone's super hungry today, Trevor. Come on. But these Pinch Berries are coming in clutch, allowing your Pokemon to stay on the field for another turn.
However, Tailwind just ran out, though. And now Clefairy's back on the field.
Oh.
And it's likely ready to just press the Follow Me button.
I mean, we do see Ian thinking ahead, making sure that he can preserve the Follow Me for late game when it counts the most. Now, we'll have to see. And this is like one thing to run over a Moongus, right? Because if he had a Moongus with Rage Powder, Kartana could just easily ignore the effects of Rage Powder and knock out the Xerneas.
Yep, and here we do see the Follow Me come out, most likely going to be going for another Moonblast into this Kyogre to be able to kill it.
Ooh, and we do see Kyogre being the fastest thing on the field right now. Will it knock out? It is enough to knock out.
Yep, so there goes the Kyogre, which means most likely Smart Strike comes out and is going to clean up this Clefairy, but from our assumption, we've probably got something in the back with either the Groudon, the Heatran, maybe a Hidden Power Fire Venusaur, but we are in the rain, I suppose, so that kind of helps, but...
we are in the rain until the Groudon shows up, if he does have
if there is a Groudon, though, and here it is, Groudon comes onto the field, and there's Fire Punch pressure, and there's also the Moonblast. So if he goes for Moonblast, and somehow this Kartana lives it, and then kills with a Leaf Blade crit at +1 onto the Groudon, I don't think you're taking the second Moonblast.
That is also very true. Moonblast coming out. Let's see how much it does to the Kartana. Oh.
It does hang on, which is
Smart
probably
Strike.
safe to assume that it would then be
targeted
Assault Vest.
Yes. So, I mean, for Ryosuke, he can sort of get an idea like what kind of stuff that his opponent's running on his Groudon, if it's not standard at all, of course.
And as we see, Fire Punch comes out, which is fairly standard, so we're in the situation now of he didn't give away too much information on his Groudon. The forfeit game 1 was also very smart right away.
Yes.
Because you didn't want to reveal what was in the back that he didn't show yet. So as soon as the Xerneas died, you throw in what you've already shown, or what you can assume is there with the Incineroar, and then you hide the rest. You hide what you keep in the back. Going into this second game, then, we see Groudon comes onto the field as that fourth member, and Kartana can't do a thing against that.
Very, very interesting game. Back and forth. Round 1 for Ryosuke, round 2 for Ian. Now we're going straight into round 3, like, I think in a blink of an eye.
Already into game 3, going on around 15 minutes or so into this set, and we're already on game 3 now.
You're correct. It's almost 3:20 right here. Wow.
Yep.
All right.
So we're already going into game 3, and this is going to be a close one. I think Ian has played it to the point where he knows what he should probably be bringing. I think those 4 is fairly safe to bring into Ryosuke's team.
The question is, what does Ryosuke do to adapt to that Groudon? Because he lost his Tornadus very early, right? So that means if it had Rain Dance, he couldn't switch the weather on it.
Yeah, no, there was no way of changing weather once everything died and Kyogre's stuck on the field then, so sun comes up and there's nothing that it can be doing from there.
All right, we are in team preview. Both players taking their time, making sure that they will choose the correct Pokemon for this last match. Now, like in Ryosuke's case, round 1, Kyogre, Tornadus worked fairly well, and then round 2, it sort of worked, but it just came down to the end game where Kartana itself couldn't do much against Groudon and Xerneas. So I wonder, will we see something maybe along the lines of him bringing Incineroar this time for some fake-out pressure?
Fake-out pressure can definitely be coming, but something I just realized, though, is that Kartana is not safe if there is Helping Hand on that Clefairy. We saw the Moonblast do around 80%, which does confirm that it is Assault Vest, but it's not a super bulky one, which means if Helping Hand does come out ever in that situation again, that Kartana is not safe.
Oh.
And we do see the same exact leads come out, and I'm going to take a guess here that we're going to be pressing Geomancy twice.
I mean, like we've said many times before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And especially...
He's got no reason to be changing it. Game 1, he lost it due to the crit. And next one, the special attack drop might have mattered a decent amount. Like, the rolls are obviously still dependent and everything, but you're still looking at a situation of Clefairy did its job and made it so that Ian's Xerneas took minimal damage.
We see Fake Out onto the Tornadus as per last game.
Stop the taunt, be able to make sure that we're going to see...
he didn't go for a status move this time, meaning that Ryosuke probably changed up, or unless that was the same as last time, it didn't really matter. And we will be seeing Geomancy from Ryosuke's Xerneas. Now will Ian's be using Geomancy as well to make this the same turn 1 that we've seen since last game?
I'm thinking it's pretty safe to say that.
It is fairly safe to say.
And there it is.
Double
So we've got
Geomancy.
2 Geomancies popping turn 1 again. So, as we see the wonderful animation go off 2 times.
Just in case you didn't enjoy it the first time, you can
get a
watch it
second
again. And you know what? You saw it. All 3 matches right here, Memphis Regionals. All right. Now, what do you do to this game 2? Because you may want to play differently to try and catch your opponent off guard, right? Because if we remember correctly, last time you used Dazzling Gleam to catch I think the Clefairy
Yep, the
switching.
Clefairy on the switch. It took that.
But what do you do now? Do you try and, I think, do you Tailwind? Because Ryosuke's Xerneas is faster.
Ooh, he went for a taunt into that Incineroar, calling the Clefairy switch in. However, not going
Moonblast.
for that.
We're trading Moonblast, Xerneas to Xerneas. These Xerneas are just duking it out on their side of
As
the
we
field.
do see a Flare Blitz outright this time.
Well, I think this is going to Xerneas. Yes, it
Yep,
is.
to be able to get that extra chip damage
the burn.
and the burn
Oh my
of all
gosh.
things.
This
This
is.
makes it now that thing's on a huge timer.
He's on a timer!
So now this Xerneas on Ian's side is actually just safe to. You can protect if you want, and you can protect this turn and then have the Incineroar try and maybe U-turn off of the opposing Xerneas.
Very true. Or he could go Dazzling Gleam and maybe Flare Blitz into the Tornado slot as well if he wants to keep up the pressure and get more damage off.
That is a possibility, but regardless, this Xerneas has 2 turns to live now on Ryosuke's side.
That's-
That 10% burn,
Oof, that was very, very unlucky. I mean, the double up in of itself would have guaranteed it went down last turn, but now this means that Ian can actually safely. Oh, we do see the Tailwind setting
so
up for his.
Ryosuke's setting up the Tailwind for whatever's in the back to be able to potentially go for something, and we do see that Ian doesn't do anything doesn't protect his Xerneas or anything.
Oh, we do see the Pinch Spray proc from the Incineroar, restoring 50% of its HP. And we will see the Xerneas trade Dazzling Gleams right now.
However, this damage now to the Tornadus, it is out of range of the berry that it got the last time.
Oh.
Which means we do just see a U-turn, so that's a resisted hit, and that's going to proc the berry. But if it went for a Flare Blitz potentially, then that thing was straight dead.
I mean, but the only downside is, like, you don't get Clefairy in, of course. But, like,
True.
It's like you're balancing, do you want to keep up the pressure and get a double knockout, or do you just want to play, I think, a bit safer and make sure that your supportive Clefairy gets in this turn and can keep up the pressure with some with the Friend Guard, Follow Me, and Helping Hand.
Now, if I am correct, yep, there's Kyogre coming in the back now. So we've got the Drizzle proccing again. So we see the rain getting set up, and we know that it's under Tailwind, which means... Did we ever see what the speed tiers were between the Xerneas and the Kyogre, though?
We did not. No. Well,
Potentially
I think-
game 1, but I don't remember that exactly between the 2 of them.
I believe Kyogre may have been faster under Tailwind, but that is
It
most likely
was faster under Tailwind, but the issue is, without that, now that Tailwind is up, though, it might just be faster regularly.
I mean, we're going to have to see, because now with the rain up, that means that Tornadoes can actually start firing off 100% accurate Hurricanes onto the inside of the field. So he could potentially Water Spout Hurricane to deal a great amount of damage.
As we do see Clefairy hard switch out, probably predicting
Oh, Groudon
a
switching
potential
back.
taunt as well. And now that you've got the sun up, this Water Spout's doing less damage. Hurricane's 50% accurate.
And, oh my god, we do see the Water Spout. How much damage is this going to do to the Groudon? I'm wondering. Just about 50%,
Fair amount.
actually.
However, that Xerneas took next to nothing, and it's
Oh
going to be
my-
able to fire back with a Moonblast now.
And we've seen this last game doing just above the
the
amount for
Hurricane
Pinch
actually hitting.
Oh! Well, maybe
In the
confused.
sun.
Confused? No confusion.
No confusion, though, so
Now, but the thing is, Kyogre outspeeds.
yes.
And that's
Kyogre does
very crucial.
outspeed, and so we might see a potential swap from the Groudon, I think, into Incineroar to be able to get fake out pressure. Because by swapping that back in, then you're stopping we just saw that Ian Xerneas is faster, than the Tornadus. So if we do see a swap into Incineroar, Fake Out goes into Kyogre,
Yes.
and then you can kill off the Tornadus on this next turn before Tailwind runs out.
I think Ryosuke just has to make the right call. We do see Xerneas protect, trying to make sure it stays around for one more turn in case if he doubled in. Hydro Pump. Ooh, trying to make sure that
That's
Xerneas...
a very different move.
That was
than
a
I've seen
very
on
aggressive...
most of them, and we do see that it misses.
Precipice Blades, double...
Precipice Blades missing, Hydro Pump missing, Hurricane missing.
I mean,
Hydro Pump into Protect, but we see a turn of nothing.
But right now, that means Ryosuke can fire off a 100% accurate Water Spout. Guarantee, like, it's going to do at least 7 damage, of course. And then he can try and get some more chip damage onto this Groudon or the Incineroar if it tries to swap in.
Yeah, absolutely, but the question is, it's got to hit the attack that comes out.
I mean,
Xerneas
double protect.
goes for the
Nope,
double
it
protect
fails.
and fails it.
Hydro, it lands. Oh, I think
Does clean up, obviously, the 7 health Xerneas.
just not wanting to risk it based on the health and the sun and the +2 special defense.
And we do see another Hurricane fired off and missing.
Fire Punch.
Fire Punch is fired off again and just there's a decent chunk to that Tornadus.
Now, this match is sort of back and forth. I think it's pretty even because Ryosuke can actually... has he revealed Protect on his Kyogre yet?
I believe he has protected.
Because what he could do is, while Ian does have Fake Out pressure, and if he Fake Outs and doubles into the Tornadus, he will guarantee the knockout. But if he could somehow set up Tailwind, he'll be in such a great position.
Yeah, I think there's no way this Tornadus.
Tornadus did what, unless if Ian tries to make some sort of call or read that just doesn't pan out, this Tornadus is probably going down this turn.
I think it's safe to say that this Tornadus is in.
I mean, we don't want to say. Remember Philly? We thought remember how that last turn went.
That's.
You can't say it's safe to say, because this is Pokemon, the game we play.
As we do see Protect revealed on the Tornadus, so there's no Rain Dance.
Protect, making sure that Fake Out is gone.
Question is there a Swords Dance or anything that could
Swords
come from
Dance,
Groudon to punish? Nope, just a straight Fire Punch, trying to ensure that the Tornadus would die. Maybe not thinking it had Protect, since a lot of them do run Rain Dance in that 4th slot.
So we've seen Protect, Tailwind, Taunt, and Hurricane.
Yep, full moveset's been shown, so it can't be setting up Rain Dance, which means we are stuck right now in the sun, and this Kyogre's not enjoying that at all.
I mean, I don't know. We could try and... It depends on what Ryosuke has in the back, what he deems more valuable. A Tailwind or a Rain Dance. We'll see Clefairy coming out. Ooh. Let's see.
Clefairy coming out, making sure that this is able to take this high.
He went for a Hurricane.
Oh, and it eats that comfortably. Oh. And I'm going to take a guess that there's that berry coming up.
Pinched berries.
All across the team, and so we get that Groudon back healed up.
Oh.
Another Hurricane miss. This is what happens when you're not in the rain. You don't have that 100.
He didn't have Rain Dance, of course.
Yeah, no, there's no rain, so you're stuck trying to throw off Hurricanes.
I mean, what would you? I don't know. I personally think the Hurricane may have been a bit greedy, since you could have set up the Tailwind, try and make sure that your last mon can outspeed, unless if it's Kartana.
Ooh, and this is where things get
spicy.
Not the greatest, since this Clefairy every time can just press the follow me button as a Fire Punch, is probably going to be thrown out into that Kartana.
Unless, is it for sure AV?
I think it's safe to say it was AV based off of the Moonblast damage from the +2 Xerneas.
Because if it is not, we may see Detect and Taunt onto the Clefairy to shut it down.
Something to note, though, is you're no longer in Sun. Sun has faded, and Groudon not being primal means there is no fire typing on it.
Ooh.
So this is just a 75 base power fire move.
But it's quite effective on Kartana, Trevor. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure that's a knockout. I mean, unless he's running unless the Groudon either is bulkier instead of more offensive, and that's a slightly bulkier Kartana.
As we do just see the switch out, though, straight into Incineroar, get the Intimidate. Ooh. And if this is happening, I think it might be safe to assume that there's going to be a Protect on this Clefairy this turn.
Oh, yes. We're going to have to see Protect from Clefairy.
There's the Protect on Clefairy to make sure that next turn it's able to fire off a Helping Hand or something.
Taunt going into the Clefairy slot.
Block this Taunt.
Smart Strike into the Incineroar slot. Very interesting.
Yeah, not going to really do too much there.
Especially at -1. Like, that just didn't do the damage it needed to.
Maybe thinking just in case he does go for follow me that turn that the Smart Strike is then redirected into.
Very smart, very smart. I mean, yeah, because you can't Leaf Blade, because if the Incineroar swaps and he doesn't follow me, still resisted. You can't Sacred Sword because you follow me.
Yeah, I think the Smart Strike was the safe play.
It was very safe, yes.
And now we do see the follow me as Taunt will connect this time onto Clefairy, but we didn't see a fake out.
Sacred Sword going for Sacred Sword this time.
Clefairy being able to just eat that hit up, and now here comes Flare Blitz being able to clean up on this.
Goodbye, Kartana. You will be missed.
Kartana just absolutely removed from this one, and from here, this game's pretty much over, I feel it's safe to say.
I think now you can safely say, it is safe to say, that this game is over.
Since Clefairy is just going to swap out here into Groudon, and
yes.
Not too sure what this 50% accurate Hurricane would be able to throw.
We see the players
here.
shake. That was back and forth. I mean, you saw how Ian was able to adapt and preserve the information game 1, so he can come back and win out the last 2 games.
I think it was safe to say that the crit, unfortunate, and kind of cost him game 1, but after that he adapted it fine. He brought the correct 4, and he definitely brought himself in the position that he was perfectly fine to win that from.
Yeah, I think the trickiest thing for Ryosuke, at least in my perspective, is that Clefairy, right? Because
absolutely.
You have
the
to call
Clefairy being there, being able to give Friend Guard.
You have to call when it tries to use Follow Me, because we just saw he's Smart Strike expecting a Follow Me, and he's Sacred Sword expecting not a Follow Me. So it's like you're going 50-50 on a bunch of these scenarios where you may get lucky, and
if you get lucky and you pull off the correct call, because like said he goes for Smart Strike and the Clefairy actually just swapped into a Groudon. Not the greatest then.
It was a tough match.
Yeah, so we'll be right back with a player interview with Ian. So stay right there. We'll be back as soon as possible.
Stay tuned. How we doing? We are back with Ian, who won the last round on stream. Ian, how do you feel about that match?
It was stressful, to say the least. His Tornadus was very threatening, and the rest of his team was threatening as well. Because the Tornadus was very threatening due to the support options it has, stopping my Clefairy from following and supporting my Xerneas and everything. And also the fact that it kept setting up Tailwind and such to outspeed the rest of my Pokemon. And game 1, and also a bit of the rest of the games, he kept getting kind of lucky, so it started becoming difficult and to stay cool and everything. Yeah. But I still managed to pull it out, which was good.
That's very good. Do you had like a particular thought process, especially after game 1, like how are you going to try and come back from game 2 and game 3?
With his type of team, I knew the main thing I really need to do was focus on Xerneas and getting it set up. Because the thing is, what I need to do there really is just get Xerneas up and start snowballing before he can really do anything for the most part.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
So that's why heading into games 2 and 3, I just went with Xerneas and Incineroar since I could stop the taunt, switch into Clefairy, and also maneuver a bit more with Xerneas and protect it a lot better. That was pretty much my game plan, just protect Xerneas.
Now, one thing I do want to ask is Clefairy. Like, I know we've seen so many Xerneas Smeargles, and Xerneas Moon gets a lot more uncommon, but I don't think I've ever seen Xerneas Clefairy. Now, so like, we know it has like Friend Guard and a bunch of support options, but what was your thought process in choosing Clefairy?
One of my friends told me about Xerneas, or Clefairy rather, and using it with Xerneas, and I feel like it was something interesting to try out. It's like Smeargle, but it also can take more attacks. It's slower, so it can take Gyro Balls from stuff like Sakataka and Ferrothorn, which is pretty crucial for Xerneas. It can live Water Spouts, as shown in the game. So part of it being bulkier, and also Friend Guard's a really neat ability. It came in clutch sometimes there where I would switch in Clefairy and I'd just barely take an attack with Xerneas or someone when he probably expected me to get KO'd there. So I feel like Friend Guard's also a really, really strong ability, especially compared with something like Xerneas. And some of the options it does have as well, like Helping Hand, Encore, Heal Pulse. There's just so many tools. Smeargle has it as well, but it lacks this bulk aspect, which is the main thing.
Absolutely. Any shout-outs you want to give before we wrap up this interview?
I guess Nick Navarre for giving me the team for the most part, and the Clefairy idea and all that. It's a good friend.
All right, friends are what we are about here in the Pokemon community. We will see you very soon for the next round, so stay tuned.